Alright, so now let's learn how to integrate trigonometric functions. Now they're really not hard, but you have to be a little bit careful. So let's see. So according to the rule, it says if you integrate sine, you get negative cosine. If you integrate cosine, you get sine. That's it. But one of the things that can happen is you can forget like which one gets negative. Is it differentiation or integration gives you negative for sine or for cosine, or you can mix up everything, right? So one of my students who was in my office hours once figure out a way to remember it. So the way is do negative I negative phrase. So remember do negative I negative. So what does that mean? Do negative means D stands for differentiation. Differentiate O. So do means O. So sine and cosine, which one has O? Cosine, right? So if you differentiate cosine, you get negative. Do negative. I negative means, of course, I is integration, but not only that. I negative, the letter I is, you can find it in sine. So if you integrate sine, you get negative cosine. Integrate I negative. Okay, integrate sine, you get negative. Differentiate O, differentiate cosine, you get negative. Okay, all right. So that's one way to remember it. Hopefully that helps. Okay, right. Now, how can we change this rule? How can we change this sign? So let's say you have to integrate 2 times sine 4x. Okay, all right. So what can we do here now? Now there are 2 types of constants. Now if you have watched my previous 2 videos, you know what I'm talking about. We have 2 types of constants. So in case if you have missed it, click on the link above to learn that 2 type of constants and some of the discussion of other functions in integrating other functions. Okay, so the 2 types of constants are these 2 and 4 here. 2 is the constant that multiplies the whole function sine, but 4 is the constant that is inside and it's multiplying x. So 2 types of constant, one is outside, one is inside. So how do you handle 2? Well, you can take it out of the integral. Okay, then how can you handle 4? According to the rule, the rule says you divide by that constant. You divide the result by that constant. So if you have ax, you divide by a. So then 2, it stays here. 2, if you integrate sine, you get negative. Okay, negative 2. It becomes cosine 4x. Now you divide by 4 plus c. Okay, all right. So let's do another one example just to make sure. 3 cosine 5x. You have to integrate with respect to x. Now that 3 comes out of the integral, so you integrate cosine 5x. Now you can divide by that 5. So 3 over 5. If you integrate cosine, you get sine 5x. No negative, okay, because I negative. If you integrate sine, you get negative. Okay, all right. Now this is how you do it. Now why are we dividing by a? The reason is coming from integration by substitution, or you can think it in terms of differentiation also. Now I gave a hint to that in my previous video. Again, you can refer my previous video for that. But in the integration, when we are learning integration by substitution, we can learn it very clearly. But you don't need to use integration by substitution to solve this problem if you remember that we are dividing by a, right? So this is like a shortcut. Okay, now let's do some of the examples here. So let's do exercise 4 real quick. Half sine 3x, so the answer will be negative half cosine 3x. Divide the whole thing, divide by 3 plus c. Okay, so now we can write it better. Negative, this 2 comes down, right? So it's negative 1 over 6 cosine 3x plus c. Okay, so let's do this problem. Square root of x, you have to integrate square root of x minus 2 over 3 cosine 2x. Okay, so now if you want to integrate square root of x, that is same as integrating x to the half, right? And now since we have subtraction, separating the square root function and the cosine function, we can integrate square root of x separately and that cosine function separately, right? So if you integrate x to the half, it's x to the half plus 1 over half plus 1. If you don't know how to integrate square root, click on the link above to learn that again. Minus, so if you integrate cosine, so 2 over 3 comes for free because that's the constant that multiply the total function. Okay, if you integrate cosine, you get sine, no negative, and also you have to divide by 2, don't forget that, and plus c, of course. So 2 cancel out, and let's see what we get. Here x to the half plus 1 is x to the 3 over 2, divide by 3 over 2, minus 1 over 3, sine 2x plus c. Okay, so x 3 over 2, so by reciprocal multiplication you can write it as 2 over 3. Okay, take the reciprocal of 3 over 2 and use multiplication, right? We discussed that in one of our previous videos, and this is the answer solution. Okay, let's do more problems. Let's do exercise 4. Okay, so now we have to integrate sine 3x over 4 with respect to x. Let's see how we can do this. If you integrate sine, okay, what can we do about 4? Now that's a constant that is outside, right? But it's actually 1 over 4, right? It multiply the whole sine function, 1 over 4 times sine 3x, right? So 1 over 4 stays there. Integral of sine is negative cosine 3x plus c. Don't forget to divide by 3. Now here 4 times 3, right? Here it's not 4 plus 7. Okay, it's 4 times 3. What is that? That's 12. So let's write it like negative cosine 3x over 12. Okay, all right. Now, okay, sine, here's a cool one. Sine theta over 3. You have to integrate it with respect to theta. Okay, so how can we do this now? Well, if you integrate sine, you get negative cosine theta over 3. That we know for sure. But what is the constant? What can we do about that 3? Actually, it's not 3, it's 1 over 3. So a is 1 over 3. So whatever constant you have, you divide by it, right? So understand that. So here the variable is theta. The constant that it multiply is 1 over 3. So you have multiplied theta by 1 over 3. So you divide. A is 1 over 3. So you divide by 1 over 3. So those are the tricky things that you need to be very careful. So dividing by 1 over 3 is same as multiplication by reciprocal of 1 over 3. So reciprocal of 1 over 3 is 3. So this is negative 3 times, not sine, cosine theta over 3 plus c. Let's do the last problem. 6 cosine 2 theta over 5. Integrate 6 cosine 2 theta over 5 with respect to theta. So we can take 6 out and integrate cosine 2 theta over 5 with respect to theta. So 6, if you integrate cosine, it's sine 2 theta over 5. And what is a? A is 2 over 5, right? So if you divide by 2 over 5, you divide by 2 over 5. Let's just do it slowly. Arbitrary constant plus c. So dividing by 2 over 5 is same as multiply by the reciprocal of 2 over 5, which is 5 over 2. 6 times 5 over 2 sine 2 theta over 5 plus c. So 2 cancel, here get 3. So 3 times 5 is 15 sine 2 theta over 5 plus c. So that's the answer. So click on the link that appears in this video to go to watch my next video, which I talk about a little bit harder trigonometric functions. Okay, all right, so then I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.